All right, good morning, second grade students. Today for science, we are going to be looking at a paragraph comprehension on Alexander Graham Bell. And so today when we read through this, we're going to also be highlighting key important parts that we feel are important in the paragraph and may also even help us to answer our questions for our homework on Edmodo. So let's get into our reading comprehension today on Alexander Graham Bell. All right, Alexander Graham Bell is most famous for his invention of the telephone. So that's pretty important. So Alexander Graham Bell is most famous for his invention of the telephone. So let's go ahead and let's highlight the word telephone. He first became interested in the science of sound because both his mother and wife were deaf. So he became interested in the science of sound. So that's pretty important. So let's highlight that. So the science of sound because both his mother and wife were deaf. So that means they were not able to hear sound. So Bell was born on March 3rd, 1847 in Scotland. And as we know from prior people that we have studied, a lot of times the questions ask us what day they were born. So let's highlight March 3rd, 1847. And he was born in Scotland. He became an excellent piano player at a young age. So let's also go in and let's highlight piano player because that may be of importance for us later. Bell was homeschooled by his father. He later attended high school and then the University of Edinburgh. Bell studied the human voice and worked for schools for the deaf. So let's underline or highlight here what he studied. So he studied human voice and he worked with schools again for the deaf. He experimented with sound working with a telegraph. So let's highlight the word telegraph here. In 1876, Bell got the telephone to work. His first words with the working telephone were spoken to his assistant, Watson. So we're going to also highlight Watson here because that's who he was talking to the first time he got the telephone to work. By 1855, more than 150,000 people owned telephones in the United States. So let's highlight 150,000 people. And let's also highlight owned telephones, and then let's also highlight United States. So we know what country they are talking about of the people who owned the telephones. So Bell Telephone Company was formed in 1877. So let's highlight Bell Telephone Company because that was the name that he gave to his company. And it was formed in the year 1877. Alexander Graham Bell died on August 2nd, 1922 in Nova Scotia, Canada. So let's highlight August 2nd of 1922. All right, so that is our reading comprehension paragraph today on Alexander Graham Bell and his invention of the telephone. And hopefully by working through this and also highlighting some important parts. Hopefully this will help you to think about in your future readings how you can use highlighting or underlining or circling important parts to help you remember where you read about something or something that you want to remember, or it could be very important. So hopefully doing this will help you to do the assignment on Edmodo.